Who are we to think that we have it all figured out? How does Roger Federer still have a coach? How does Rafael Nadal still have a coach? And that was at the height of their rivalry. How do they still have coaches? And what on earth do I think makes me so good that I don't need a coach? In fact, I plan to stay part of some or other coaching process until the day I die. I don't ever want to come to a point where I think I have it all.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Fresh Perspective Unpacking, where we unpack different topics within the coaching world and therapy world, specifically things that I teach and coach in the Clarity Quest. Usually I do this with Dr Marjietjie Smit, and she asks me a bunch of questions about specific topics, seeing as she's a member of the Clarity Quest. But before we started recording today, we had a very exciting and stimulating conversation about her own journey into coaching. And I said to her, well, let's talk about that. So I will be interviewing her a little bit today. Hello, Marjietjie.
Welcome. Hello, Francois.
Welcome to Fresh Perspective Unpacking Dr Marjietjie Smit. That's the topic for today.
I mean, you never even give me a chance to drop the doctor.
Yeah, sorry.
It's very unfair.
Sorry, doctor.
Can you just say Marjietjie Smit and then I can say, no, sorry. It's
Welcome, Marjietjie Smit.
Sorry, it's Dr. Marjietjie Smit.
Sorry. Anyway, so you are now at a place where you have clients, you have people paying you to coach them. And it's about maybe a bit more than a year ago when you started this journey? Where you thought, well, maybe I should be doing this or studying some more, and now people pay you to coach them.
Yeah.
What happened?
I think, Francois, it may be. Let me start at the very beginning. That sounds like
I was born in.
Let's start at the very beginning. Yes, I matriculated. No, so I think like many people, but women in particular, who give up their career for a large part to focus on family for a while, I did that. So I was a stay-at-home mom for quite a while, and which in itself was traumatic for me. But then, when my kids grew up a little bit, and I realized, it's time for a new chapter. It's time for something. And the first thing that I went to was something that I knew would still enable me to work around my own time and do something that I enjoy, and it's something that I always hoped to do. So I enrolled and completed my PhD. So that was that I think is hence. That has nothing to do with the story. I just wanted to mention that. No. And then everybody was like, what do you want to do with a PhD? Do you want to teach at university? And I was like, no, I love studying. So I've always wanted to do that. But then I think I proved a lot of things for myself. And maybe I also disproved a lot of things to myself. And then in that new transition phase from having gotten my degree and now it's time for the next chapter, I saw an interview with you, whom I've known since university, by the way, but I saw an interview that you did with Benny Fourie, where you explained what life coaching is. And I thought, maybe there were two simultaneous thoughts. There was the thought, I want to do what he's doing. But that was maybe secondary. The primary thought was, say again?
You wanted to be interviewed by Benny Fourie.
Yes. That's exactly it. No, I wanted to be Benny. Wait, sorry, did that not did that not come out right? No. I was wishing I want to be interviewed by Francois Esterhuizen, and here we are.
And here we are.
But anyway, yeah. No, I think the primary thought was I'm going to get in touch with Francois because what I remember from when we knew each other better was this is a guy I trust and a guy that I think is wise. And I'm not just saying that to I don't know what the Africa or the English idiom is, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. So it was an easy call to make. So I got in touch with you, and the conversation, it was the free consultation call, and the conversation was around what do I want to do? I think I want to write a book. I was thinking about coaching. I was thinking about this. Above all that, I still want to be a cool grandma when my kids have children. And you asked the question, why not all of that? Why do you have to choose one? And I was like, okay, wait a minute. And I was supposed to start the journey with you when maybe it's around about this time to the day.
Yeah, it was the 3rd of August. I just looked it up. The 3rd of August when
okay.
that conversation.
That conversation. But I think that then I phoned you and I said, Francois, I have a different proposition.
Yep.
I know that I want to be a laugh coach, but I don't want to be that person that just slaps on a thingy and say, now I'm a laugh coach. If I do this, I want to do it because I really make a difference in people's lives like you do. So what are the options that you can train me? And I don't know if you want to fill in the blank there.
Yes, that was just interesting. That was just before the end. So August we had a conversation. Didn't hear much from you, and then you proposed or asked me how do I go about becoming a coach like you. I want to learn from you and be trained by you. And I'm like, okay, I've never done that. I've been asked by 2 other people before, but I don't think they were as serious as you were. Let me think about what that can look like. And then I only got back to you at the beginning of this year, 2023, saying, well, why don't you just work through my program, join the program, be at everything I do and see what I do, and then ask me and engage, and we can have conversations around the things that you observe, and I can give you input as we go. And that's what we've been doing this year.
Yeah.
So it's been less than
a
year, actually.
No, it's been less than a year. Then we both decided, after you gave me some reading work and I was observing you and joining in sessions, I attempted doing one session, #too soon, and it was a very uncomfortable
situation. That's
right.
So you
I honestly
a group coaching session.
Yes.
I said, try and session. Okay. Yep. Good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I tried doing that as a teacher or as a lecture, not as a coaching session, because that was what I was familiar with. And taking that as maybe the lowest point of this year, that going from there and then realizing.
Sorry, Marjietjie, I remember you saying that was horrible. You didn't enjoy it at all, and then I said, let me watch it, because I was away. That's why I said, well, take the opportunity, and I watched it and said, okay, let's talk about it. You didn't want to talk about it. Remember, you're like,
no.
No,
the discomfort of doing it, I didn't want to be reminded about that. The main reason, I felt super incompetent. I've seldom felt so incompetent in my life. And I think that low point broke loose a lot of things, because if I can fast forward maybe to where we are now, I think if anybody considers doing coaching, the biggest realization has to be that I don't have the answers. that I shouldn't pretend that I have the answers. I don't have to feel like I'm the answers. I have the answers. It's not the answers that make me competent. It's my skills that I explained to somebody the other day. I have developed a key through the skills that I've learned from you and some other courses that I enrolled in. I've developed a key that is like a master key. With that master key, I have the option to unlock something in somebody. But they have the door, they have the lock. I just have a master key, and the better I get, the more I develop this master key, the better are my options of helping somebody to unlock that door, if that metaphor makes sense.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, yeah. And questions are a big part of that. You know, the way that you ask.
I remember.
And being curious.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember in the beginning of the year, from an academic background, I felt like I need a page with questions that I can memorize so that I know which question to drop when, and that'll make me a good coach, because I grasped on an intellectual level what you said. Your questions is a powerful tool. Questions are a powerful tool. So I said, but okay, give me good questions. And you're very, very, oh, I love your sense of humor, but your response was, you have to write this down, Marjietjie. The most important question is, are you going to eat that? So yeah, are you going to eat that? So in a house full of boys and a husband, that's not a question that comes up a lot from my side.
Yeah.
Yeah. But from there, I then enrolled in an Imago course, and the value of that was realizing it's not about the question as much as what needs to be unlocked, and what needs to be unlocked will determine the question.
Yeah, 100%. So you know, I made a little joke with you that day, but if I had to tell you what the most important question is now, I'd say, ask yourself, do you care? Do you care? This is the question that I always ask myself as I'm preparing to do a lecture or presentation or facilitate something. I'm, facilitating a wedding this coming weekend, and I ask that question, do I care? Because it's very easy to slip into looking smart, seeming to have answers, trying to impress people, showing off knowledge, and people don't care about that. They don't. So I have to ask, do I care about them? Because when I care, then I'm curious, I'm open, and I'm putting myself in their shoes, which means I'm asking different questions. I'm trying to unlock and open up avenues and possibilities that maybe might be hidden to that person, which is not obvious to that person. So, to go back to what you referred to now as your lowest point, you thought, well, I didn't do a good job, I wasn't well prepared, I didn't know the answers, all of that, but that's not really what was going on, right? All of that was what we in the Quest call unhealthy selfishness. It was about you instead of about the people you were coaching. And now you've made
absolutely 100%.
Yeah, now you care. You care about them, and that's about you in a healthy way. You are the one caring and showing up and trying to use that master key to unlock avenues. What's been the biggest surprise for you in terms of what the results that you've gotten when working with them? So not the biggest reward, the biggest surprise.
My biggest surprise is, maybe to link it to the previous bit that we've been speaking about. I remember sitting with one group and asking the question, if you can change one thing, one small thing you can change today to get what you want,
Mm.
And I was thinking for the one lady that it was going to be all about her business, because up to now a lot of the discussions had been about her business. And her answer was, if I can have a nighttime routine and have my kids in bed by 7:30 every night, that would make the biggest difference in my relationship with my husband, in my business, in so a very concrete answer to your maybe broader question.
Yeah.
But I think for me, the biggest surprise looking back from that low point to where I sit today was I really can be as wise as I think I am. I can have a PhD. Um, I don't have the answer for another person's life.
Mm.
And just to get back to what you said, curiosity is beautiful. Curiosity is beautiful not only as a coach. I've seen a change in my children because I listen more than I speak. I've seen a change in my friendships because I try to be more curious when we are together. Um, Even in my relationship with my husband, maybe referring back to some podcasts that we've recorded before, not saying, oh, if you just do that differently, then I won't be so irritated. Rather turning around and saying, I'm curious, what's going on? What is below the surface? So I think to realize that curiosity is the answer. The answer is not the answer. Maybe that was my biggest surprise, or one of.
Curiosity is the answer, yeah. So I think, well, my take on why questions are so powerful is because they help us shift our perspective. That's why this podcast is called Fresh Perspective. And sometimes when as a coach you share a framework or you are teaching something that the person might not know, might not be have heard of before. For me, it's all about shifting their perspective so they look at their own life, their own challenge, their own goal, their own questions from a different perspective so they can produce different answers. And those answers, that they give help me ask different questions, more questions, and delve into it a little bit deeper. I'll also say that I find I do quite often in terms of just realizing moments where I have to kind of be curious about myself as well, is how we use questions as a full stop, right? So I don't know how I'm going to get through this day, as a full stop. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this job or get this interview or apply for this. Those are very simple ones, but I like to say, don't waste the question, because if you don't answer the question, you're wasting it, because it's got the potential to shift your perspective. Okay, how will I get through this day? How will I be able to apply for that job? Little things like that. Do you have a go-to question when you are coaching people, when you're working with well, maybe you can differentiate between one-on-one work and group work.
Yeah, I must say, in group work, I'm very fortunate because another very wise guy has already done the work, Francois Esterhuizen. So I borrow from your Clarity Quest. So I use your Clarity Quest as a guideline, which is amazing. But I think in my one-on-one sessions, I'm coming to favor a solid imago structure, which means I don't give input or ask anything. I simply give a sentence stem, which is the beginning of a sentence, and then the client would finish that sentence, and then I would just repeat back, mirror back to them what they have said. And at the end of our conversation, I would kind of sum up what I have heard, and then I would validate what they have said. So in that sense, I kind of favor a structured imago dialogue. thus far, because I find it amazing how the imago dialogue can bring people to see on their own. Nobody has to point it out to them what their limiting beliefs are, what their justifying beliefs are. So what the unmet needs are, what they actually need from their partner, because they don't need them to pick up their socks and put it in the dustbin. They don't need them to put their plate in the dishwasher. That might on the surface look like what you need, but I find that the safety and the connection of an imago dialogue makes it possible for people to really uncover these unmet needs, these parts of their lost self, these justifying beliefs.
100%. And helps you not take responsibility or try and be in control or try and have answers, because you are just facilitating that conversation, being a mirror. Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Love it. So
absolutely,
we didn't plan to have this specific conversation today for the podcast, but I mean, if there are some coaches out there listening, or people who want to become coaches and maybe considered it as an option, looked at some of the training out there and the prices, because it can be quite expensive, what advice would you give them, other than they should do the Clarity Quest?
Yeah, but my answer depends wholeheartedly on whether you will be training coaches soon. But I think that being mentored by somebody that you value, or somebody that you admire, or that is invaluable. And my husband is a surgeon. He's actually read a book about a guy who was a retired surgeon, or almost retiring, and then this guy realized, and he said, how does Roger Federer still have a coach? How does Rafael Nadal still have a coach? And that was at the height of their rivalry. How do they still have coaches? And what on earth do I think makes me so good that I don't need a coach? And he got a retired guy in to just observe him in theatre. And this guy made suggestions, and he gave some tips on what he thought the surgeon could do differently, or save time, or to change the way where he stands when he does a specific operation, or whatever. And I think, who are we to think that we have it all figured out? In fact, I plan to stay part of some or other coaching process until the day I die. I don't ever want to come to a point where I think I have it all. I've also, in this year, and it's maybe because I'm new to it and I haven't found my process yet at that time, I've also gone to the trouble of doing other courses. And there's a reason why medical people have to get CPD points. They have to do certain training every year. It's so that you stay on top of the field. There's so much information and so many developments, and we can always learn something that will make our master key even better, or the process smoother, or bring another level. So stay involved in some kind of training, or go to the trouble of if it's reading a book, it's reading a book. But maybe there's so many online courses available. I'm listening to a great one now, by the way, Dan Siegel's course on Aware. Before he wrote the book Aware, he did a course. And it's even in rand value, it's accessible. So it's an amazing course. And then I've done an Imago course. And the other thing that I invested in this year is, I want to say like I have a tendency to do things on a intellectual level, as you've maybe gathered now from this conversation. And I realized that was maybe part of my lost self, having put my feeling and sensing self in the shadow. And I decided that I need to reawaken my feeling self and my sensing self. So I knew a lady who does TRE, trauma and tension release exercise, and I've done that for a few weeks, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing. So that's maybe a podcast for a whole other day,
Yes.
but that was an amazing process. So, Francois, I've waffled, but to answer your question, I think the more you stay in a process of self-development, the more you are able to keep your clients in a process of self-development.
Yes. My 2 cents on what you shared now, the waffle you shared. Thank you for making the waffle. But if I can put some ice cream on it, keep learning, for sure, always keep learning. But I think learning and doing courses can be a hiding place for people who want to become coaches. That I've also seen. Like, I still need to learn this, I'm doing this course, I'm reading this book. But as you know, actually going out there, finding clients, working with people, actually risking, and then coming to a point where now you have to start charging people. Who am I to charge people for this? Am I good enough? And all those questions. I mean, learning and doing courses can be a hiding place, saying I am in process instead of actually going out there and doing it. So that'll be my ice cream on the waffle. Go out there and ask your friends, can I coach you? I'm learning this. Will you be a volunteer so I can coach you and test it out, and you can give me feedback. I'll record it and I'll show it to other friends. What do you think? What are you observing?
Yeah.
And if you can
so to add to that,
if you can find someone like that, definitely do that.
Yeah. To add to that, that was your advice to me. So I think in April of this year, I started with my first group, who was it was my hairdresser and 2 friends of mine, and I said, okay, ladies, come on, let's get together once a week, and you are going to be my proefkonijne, my guinea pigs. Yes. So I'm the funny thing is that was at the stage where I still felt so incompetent. So I was sticking to your Clarity Quest religiously. I didn't want to go anywhere from that in the beginning. So maybe in the first two parts of the Clarity Quest, I was sticking to it exactly like you wrote it down, word for word. And then I gained confidence, because it's only through doing it that you realize how to do it.
Yes.
It's not something that you can learn in books or do a little online course and whoa, now I'm a coach.
And find your own voice, right?
Absolutely. And I find that my voice has value, not because I am valuable, because I have gone to the trouble of developing skills, and my skills are valuable to these people. And that's a complete change from where I was. I have to have all the answers, to, well, I have the skills to make you find your own answers. And that's a big mind shift that I made in the past year.
Thank you, Marjietjie. I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. I feel very privileged to have been able to observe your journey and process. And I know it's not over yet. Still big things to come. So yeah, I'm very happy for you. Thank you for sharing that as well. And if people want to get in contact with you, where do they go? How do they become?
So maybe I must just say that my drug of choice, no, my passion absolutely is women in the transition phases in their lives. So that's my absolute passion. And my second passion is patients who are living with obesity and who have had bariatric surgery. So if you fall in that category and you would like to get in touch, the best place would be to go to my website, which I now have, which is, you can find at www.reconstructjourney.com.
All right, reconstructjourney.com. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I threw in a bit of Christianese there.
Journey. Well, thank you once again. I'll see you in the next episode. Maybe we'll talk about the rest of the things you've learned and tried, like the TRE as well. Thank you everyone for joining us and listening. We'll see you next time on Fresh Perspective. Bye bye.